Francesca Declich, University of Urbino. Right, I have carried out fieldwork in southern Somalia before the civil war, and after that I've been following people who became refugees from there. So, well, the research has gone on for more than 20 years now, but what can I say? What I can say is that I started with something about marriage and gift exchange in marriage, because I realized that it was something very interesting about bride wealth. The bride wealth was not really something that was given to the family of the bride, but was then redistributed among many of the people of the family, and then also with the bride herself. And that was one of the interesting things that I started working with, and that's how I then followed on with work on marriage. Well, if we talk about forced marriage, is that, for instance, I didn't realize that during colonialism, before I started doing research, that during colonialism, in order to implement forced labor, quite often women were forced to marry somebody, and that was really something that was not quite easy to find in documents and papers, because papers of this period of Somalia have almost disappeared, and so I found these things through the oral histories and biographies of women. Right, I wouldn't say that it's just the forced marriage studies that tells us something about normal marriage. It's so obvious that marriages are different in different countries and different places, not just in the places where anthropologists study or in Africa. Even if, the kind of contracts that you have as a marriage in the United States, in Spain, in Portugal, or in Italy are so different. And even if you think about what sort of marriage is usually common in the rural areas in Africa, you would never, as an urban person, get into this kind of relation, because it does imply a number of obligations that you would not want to attain as a woman, or as a man. I don't know, I speak as a woman. So, it's so very difficult to give a definition of normal marriage that, of course, the study of forced marriage helps us to have new perspectives on that, but, we knew that already. Well, if we think about crimes, then language matters, because exactly, if we think about crimes that international criminal courts have been defining a long time, of course, if you talk about forced marriage, it's quite more complicated than if you talk about sexual slavery, for instance, because forced marriage, then you would have to agree on what marriage is, and it's so difficult universally to say what marriage is, because there are so many different forms of relationships in couples, and that you would have first to agree on what a marriage is, and I would bet it's not easy for anybody to do that. So, of course, language matters.